Before a single point is won or lost, every nation stepping onto the pitch faces the exact same physical and mental test. In Group J, the distance between the top of the table and elimination begins to take shape in these first 90 minutes. The opening fixtures present a clear structural divide: a dominant world champion expected to comfortably advance, alongside eager challengers hoping to exploit the chaos of Matchday 1. Success on day one often comes down to a team's ability to absorb the initial wave of global pressure while establishing their rhythm on the pitch. The four nations grouped together here, Argentina, Algeria, Austria, and Jordan, form an ecosystem defined by extreme imbalance. Argentina arrives with the burden and privilege of being the absolute favorites to top the table. This simulation table shows a brutal mathematical reality for the rest of the group. Look at how a single victory or loss fluctuates the qualification chances for the remaining three nations. We are watching two different competitions play out on the same pitch: Argentina's campaign to retain their global crown and a desperate three-way scramble for the lone remaining ticket to the knockout stage. Entering 2026, the Argentine squad carries the heavy expectations that accompany their triumph in Qatar. Defending a world title is historically exhausting. Yet they rely on a core of veterans who have already proven they can navigate and absorb that immense scrutiny. That veteran poise is now matched by an influx of young, dynamic attackers operating squarely in their physical primes. Across the center circle, Algeria steps onto the grass, looking to validate their standing among international football's elite. They bring sharp technical abilities and rapid transition speed, guided by highly experienced European club mainstays. This dynamic sets a very specific trap. Argentina must manage the suffocating obligation to dominate, while Algeria can play with the highly dangerous, uninhibited freedom of a heavy underdog. When the whistle blows, those psychological mindsets will dictate the physical shape of the match. This diagram shows Argentina's expected approach: dominating possession and using a coordinated high press to keep the ball deep in the attacking half. In response, the Desert Foxes will intentionally concede that territory, retreating into a disciplined, narrow defensive block designed to absorb wave after wave of possession. Within this layout, the critical test will be whether Lionel Messi can find the ball in this specific area, Zone 14, navigating through heavy traffic to crack the defensive structure. When that possession inevitably breaks down, the match becomes a pure foot race. Defenders will be forced into isolated, high-speed sprints against Algerian wingers. If the South Americans push too many men forward in search of an opening, the data suggests Algeria has the exact tools necessary to launch a swift, punishing counterattack. The focus now moves to the second fixture, a game that effectively decides which nation takes the lead in the race for the remaining qualification spot. Austria enters the tournament projecting quiet confidence, relying on strict tactical systems and an aggressive physical presence. They intend to dictate the rhythm of the game through their deep, experienced midfield. Facing them is a Jordanian side riding a wave of emotion, arriving at the World Cup for the first time in their nation's history. This match tests whether Austria's tactical consistency can contain a Jordanian squad buoyed by the momentum of their historic first World Cup appearance. This heat map shows how Austria's strategy depends on overpowering central real estate to push opponents deep into their own half. Jordan's strategy depends on rigid, overlapping lines remaining intact, forcing Austria to cycle the ball around the perimeter. Out on the flanks, it becomes a direct duel, seasoned, veteran positioning against raw, unpredictable bursts of speed. Time is the enemy of the favorite here. With every scoreless minute that ticks by, Austria will feel increasing pressure to throw extra bodies forward. To secure 3 points, the Austrians have to dissect that defensive block early. If they fail, growing frustration will inevitably lead to the kind of tactical errors that underdogs thrive on. Based on squad depth and tactical organization, the opening day points toward two specific outcomes: a 3-1 victory for Argentina and a 2-0 win for Austria. Expect the stat sheet to highlight the primary creators, with Lionel Messi and Christoph Baumgartner finding the back of the net to secure the points. But you cannot discount the chaos factor. If an upset is going to happen, keep an eye on Musa Altamari to be the catalyst that shatters the Austrian defense. Because while heat maps and expected goals provide a logical framework, the World Cup tournament routinely defies logic. Let me know how you see Group J playing out. Will the heavyweights cruise, or are we looking at a day one shock? Drop your score predictions down in the comments. Make sure to subscribe as we track these teams out of the group stage. Recognizing these core philosophies today is how you truly appreciate the football they play tomorrow.